Welcome back to another episode of Excuse My Grandma. It's Kim and my co-host,
Gail.
So Grandma, what's new? I see
What?
you every day, but we have to tell everyone else.
I don't know. Now, what's new? I think we have to talk about building confidence. Your confidence, my confidence, some of my friends need confidence.
I think she's saying this because, of course, with my dating, I do usually have a lot of confidence, but like everyone gets a little bit nervous.
Okay, so this is a perfect time to introduce our two guests today who deal in confidence. One of them actually deals in confidence building, and the other has given her confidence by being her mom.
I am here with Christine Capella and Barb Capella, her mom. Christine is an online wellness and mindset coach. Welcome to Excuse My Grandma, guys.
Hi, this is Gail, the grandma.
Hi, it's Barb, the mom.
Okay, here we go.
So many generations.
Thank you so much for having us.
Oh my gosh, of course. We're so excited. So introduce yourselves.
Okay, so I'll go first. My name is Christine Capella. I am a second grade teacher. I've been teaching for 18 years, and I'm also an online wellness and mindset coach, and I've been doing that for 3 years. And I live here in New York City.
All right, so I am retired for 6 years now, and I live 6 months in a day in Florida and 6 months in Connecticut, or less, one day less, in Connecticut by the shore. And I am Christine's mom.
So Christine, tell me more about your journey with wellness and confidence coaching. How did you get into that and to where you are now?
So I started about 3 years ago. I was just searching for more in my life. I needed something else to fulfill me. And I was going through a really bad breakup at the time. And I kind of needed something to refocus my energy on aside from that really bad breakup. And I just kind of landed in online wellness and mindset coaching. I've always been really big into fitness. I've been into fitness since I was 21. I'm 42 now. So I've been in the fitness arena for a while, and it's just something that I've always been really passionate about, and this was just sort of a perfect fit. And so I started just pouring my heart into it, and that's really how I started online wellness and mindset coaching. And I feel like fitness really saved my life and has built my confidence so much that it's something that I want to share with others.
In that relationship, were you struggling with confidence, or were you always a confident kid? I guess, Barb, you can answer that as well if you saw that in her.
You know, I always felt as though she was a confident kid, but little did I know there wasn't enough confidence. I don't know how you came out of our house not being full of yourself, but so be it. And it was her journey, and she did finally reach where she is now, empowered.
When you're in a toxic relationship or something that could really bring that confidence down, I feel like a lot of the time women blame themselves and are kind of like, well, maybe I wasn't confident enough or XYZ, but you can never really justify being treated badly, I think. But it is important to have that self-love. And I feel like that's a lot of what you preach, just looking at your Instagram, Christine. Can you give our listeners maybe some easy tips on how to feel more confident, both in general and then in relationships and dating?
Of course. So I think that really, like I said, confidence for me was built through fitness, and not necessarily based upon the way that I look, but because when you are doing a 30 to 60-minute workout, there are so many struggles that you have to overcome in that short amount of time. And that builds your confidence. If you're doing that every single day and you can overcome those struggles in your fitness, then it builds your confidence, because confidence is a muscle that needs to be built, and you need to do that repeated action over and over and over again and build upon it little by little. And so that's the same thing with dating. Like it's hard to get back on that dating horse after you've been in a toxic relationship. But again, you have to start small. You have to put yourself out there. You have to build that confidence muscle, and you have to do it over and over and over repeatedly. And I think that just goes for any area in your life.
So I kind of want to ask, I guess, all three of you, do you think you have to love yourself before you can love someone else or accept love from someone else? Like, how important is self-love?
Well, I think it's the most important. I mean, you can't love somebody else if you don't love yourself. But I mean, there are people who do bad mind games on you sometimes, and you lose your confidence. Sometimes you just get in with somebody that destroys all the things that you valued. And how do you back away from it? That's something that, you know, you need, like Christine says, you have to build up a muscle that gets you back on track and gets you off that toxic path, because otherwise you go down a spiral and it's a disaster.
I had an interesting conversation with a friend this morning on the phone, and her little 5-year-old granddaughter was being really harassed by a little boy. And not that all little boys harass, but this is a real problem. He's pinching her, he's pulling her hair, he's cutting her with things. And the parents, of course, went into the school and said, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And we had the conversation, well, what is she going to do? Mm-hmm. I think we need to go way back when they're 3 and 4 years old. We always taught Christine to be polite, be nice. But when someone is pushing your buttons, I think you are allowed, or that empowers you, if you can empower that little girl to say, hey, back off.
I mean, I think I agree with everything that you both said, and especially with what you said, Gail. You know, I think that, yes, I think that you need to love yourself to be able to accept love. Mm-hmm. But I do think that you can give love, and you almost give too much love when you don't love yourself enough. And that's where like the toxic relationships.
It's super interesting.
Right. And I feel like you need to really, truly love yourself to be able to accept love and to be able to give the right amount of love, and to know where your boundaries are, and to not get pulled into that toxic relationship, and or be able to get out of the toxic relationship at the right time, you know, like, because sometimes, and I know for myself, I've stayed in a lot of relationships for way too long just because I wasn't confident enough in myself. I didn't love myself enough, and I thought that this is what I should be doing, and I should continue to give this love to this person, when in reality they didn't deserve it.
Right. Christine, do you see the young girls today reacting differently than like what Mom and I used to see, that, oh, be a good girl, and that's what everyone expects? When you're teaching school, or even if you see children in your school, I would imagine that the girls have much more power than when I was growing up or when my daughter was growing up. So I certainly, Kimberly has more than what I saw when my children were growing up. Women have somewhat grabbed the power back, and hopefully are using it properly. I mean, they could be bullies too. I mean,
yes, they definitely can be bullies too. I do think that they have started to take the power back, but I do think that there are those like societal, you know, roles that everybody just kind of puts people in that still haven't fully changed. You know, like what my mom was saying, you know, we need to teach girls that no, it's not okay for a boy to pinch you and pull your hair, and that does not mean that they like you, right? Like, a lot of times you send the message and people are still sending the message, oh, that just means that he likes you, like, get over it, it's fine. But if we stop that at the younger ages, I think that as we grow up, we won't see that bad behavior as them liking us.
Good.
You know, I think when you start a relationship, if someone's pushing your buttons, you just have to say, hey, this isn't right. And perhaps you could stop it before it becomes toxic. And that person can also learn from how you express yourself, or how you, because they're attracted to you for a reason. So you have to stop being meek. You just have to say, hey, I have a voice here.
Christine, I'm going to ask you a question that always amazes me. Are you attracted to the same type all the time?
Oh, Gail. Oh, gosh, Gail. You hit the nail on the head, which is why I really am single at 42, because I am attracted to the same type over and over. They all like sort of fit the same like physical look. They all like somehow have a very similar personality. It's really horrible. And so I took a real step back from dating, because like I need to reevaluate this. Like, this is just not good. and I need to somehow fix this, right? Like I can't continue on this path anymore. But I definitely do. I definitely am attracted to the same type. And my poor mom hates it.
Yeah, Barb, what do you think of her type? And in relation to that, what type would you like to see her with?
Well, listen, when she was in college, I said, go hang out at the engineering school. The first man that comes out in plaids and stripes, they're smart men, they're nice men, but they're not the right man for her.
You're being very kind by saying that they're nice and smart.
Yeah, no, I get so frustrated by this. Nice is a good thing. How's
Yes,
that? I
exactly.
think a nice man is a good thing. Her father is the nicest man known around, and that should have been her role model. Her brother is the nicest. Those are the role models. She goes for that bad boy. There's got to be tattoos. There's got to be.
My grandma's looking at me because I think we have a lot in common here.
Oh my God.
Help her, Christine. She can't keep going down that path of the bad guys.
No, you have to stop. And who we fix her up with, it just doesn't work because she's not interested.
Christine, have you ever tried going out with one of the guys that your mom wanted to set you up with, even once?
I did in like high school and college, right, Mom? I think,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, she has, and she the mothers used to come after me. Please fix Christine up with my son. Let's get them together. So one mother in particular was also, a really good summer friend, I want to say. Her son was adorable, but he wasn't quite there yet. He needed some fixing up, okay? Christine was impatient with that one, didn't want to fix him up. And he went on to become a vice president at NBC, and now, has private yachts and all the rest of it. If you put your time in, you might be rewarded. And I'm not saying money is the reward. I'm not saying money is the reward.
No.
Nice is the reward. He was a nice guy who he just wanted to make her happy. And that's only one.
I mean, money isn't the award, but it's obviously attractive to be successful and to have drive and those other things.
Well, I saw some beautiful pictures of you, Christine. So you've certainly.
I showed her your Instagram.
I have to tell you, you're unbelievable. You're beautiful. You've got the most gorgeous figure I've ever seen. And you don't have to worry. Whoever's missing you is really missing a good girl.
Thank you so much, Gail. You're the sweetest.
I have a question for Gail.
Okay. Yeah.
Gail and Gail looks very young, by the way.
No, not so young.
And,
Not so young.
Gail, I think it's very hard for these young women to be dating these days. I find the quality of men the good ones are snapped up early, and what's left over
Correct.
is not so great. I mean, what is your advice to Kim?
Well, I've been saying to Kim, you see, I have a different perspective. We're married 57 years. So my husband and I have been. All right, so we're in the good range. We've stuck it out and enjoyed it, and had some fights along the way. But I think what the girls are missing, the women are missing today, is that they don't give somebody enough chances. Like what you were saying with her high school date. I mean, forget that. That was a long time ago. But if you meet somebody, it doesn't have to be, it's too much reality show thinking that everybody is going to be beautiful, walk in a gorgeous suit and a beautiful bikini, and everybody's going to look perfect. I mean, it's so unrealistic. First of all, no one I know looks like that. And if you do look like that, fine, but it doesn't make you happy.
Christine and I look like that.
Yeah, Christine and you do look like that. I don't. And I was laughing at Christine. I haven't worked out, I think, in 25 years. The working out is walking to the refrigerator and getting a baby Ruth. So my workouts are not so good. I do walk and I try to keep myself fit, but you girls have taken it to an extreme. But I think the dating part shouldn't be so much on looks. I really still feel it should be on the feelings. Is he a nice person? Is she a nice person? Can I have a future with them? It's too much looking at a fantasy world now. And I think that even the fantasies that you see, Kim Kardashian, everybody was fainting over who wants to look like her or be like her. So you know what? I think the emphasis is somewhat on the wrong things today. And I think a lot of it is due to the women. I think the women are more to blame than the men.
Really?
Yep.
Really?
I think the
But
men
we're
are
responding to a society that is putting a lot
yes,
of emphasis
Yes.
on
correct.
women for looking a certain way. You feel validation from men from looking a certain way.
Yeah.
So you either play along or you're not in it at all. So it's like, do you want that attention or do you want to march to the beat of your own drum? But then like you might not get as many dates and that's on you.
Well, you don't need so many dates. All you need is one guy.
Oh, let me tell you, I took up golfing this year,
Oh.
and I keep telling Christine to come drive the golf cart. There are some of the nicest young men golfing over there. I have no idea if they're married, but they're just so pleasant and they're doing something good. I mean, they're not in a bar.
Let's
It's
not generalize. We can't say every golfer is a good guy. I've been in Palm Beach for a really long time now, so.
There are some good and bad everywhere. I think New York's a tough city to meet young men.
Well, actually, New York is, I don't know, Christine, what do you think about? I don't agree. I think New York is actually easier than down here because you can go into a bar, or you can, I mean, certainly not the last year. I mean, that's been the issue.
Right.
But prior to that, there's a lot more going on in the city where you can meet people. Here, you have to really almost be introduced. It's not quite as easy, I
Or
don't
maybe
think.
from the apps, but
Yeah, well, that's another thing. Exactly. I think the
Yeah,
apps do.
The apps for sure. I mean, for me in New York City, what I think about dating in New York City is that yes, you do have a lot more options, and yes, you can, just meet somebody a little bit easier, and then you also have the apps. But because there are so many people, I think that the turnover rate is really quick. Yeah. And so I feel like everybody's always looking for like the next best thing because there is always
so much. There's so much. Yeah.
And so that's what I would say about New York.
So I want to go back a little bit to the fitness stuff because Grandma, you said your only exercise is to get a candy bar in the freezer. What are some like fitness ideas that you can have for the older generation? I know a lot of my grandma's friends listen because, it's not go to Soul Cycle or like any of these classes. That's really intimidating for someone who, I mean, my other grandmother is actually a huge Soul Cycle person.
And she goes every day.
So I shouldn't generalize, but it's intimidating for a lot of people.
For
especially
me, it's intimidating.
when you see these like young girls in a sports bra who all look the same. So what are some, ways that any generation can get into fitness?
Walking is one of the best exercises. Like if you can hit your 10,000 steps in a day, that's one of the very best things that you can do for yourself at any age. I mean, my backstory is that I just had a second spine surgery. So I can't do a lot of, high impact workouts. Soul Cycle is one of the workouts that I can do. So I do fit into that older crowd a little bit because there's a lot that I can't do as well. Mm-hmm. So walking is one of the very best things that you can do for yourself. I think as we age, stretching is so critical. So getting in some yoga or Pilates and making sure that you're stretching, doing some light weights is always really important. As we age, I think keeping our core really strong just to support our back because we need that support in our spine. So any type of core work that you can get done, whether it's with like assistance with like a basso ball, like the big blow up balls, so that you're not hurting yourself. I think that is really, really important as we age to make sure that we're keeping our core tight to support our spine and to support all of our joints. You know that you're an avid golfer, just like my mom has just started golfing. I think that that's a great sport for anybody as they age because it's low impact,
love it.
Your core, all of it. Like it's amazing for your body.
Good. At least
and there's a lot of benefits of exercise for mental health as well.
Oh my goodness. The benefits for mental health, I mean, I can speak to it from my own perspective. I have, again, coming out of a toxic relationship, you deal with a lot of anxiety. And so for me, exercise really is the only time that my mind stops, and it has helped me with my anxiety during those times. It helped with my anxiety during COVID and just kind of being trapped up. So I think that there are so many benefits to to exercise with your mental health. And it's so critical, especially during these times.
Yeah.
And do you do stuff on nutrition as well, like healthy eating? And if so, do you follow a certain diet, or what are your thoughts on that?
So I do provide nutrition support to any of my clients. I do not believe in a restrictive diet at all. I'm not one of those people that feels like you should pull out or take out any food group unless there's like a medical reason. Let's
Mhm.
say that you have like celiacs and you are, you do have an allergy to gluten, then you should remove it from your diet. But otherwise, I think that you should be eating all food groups.
Mm-hmm.
You should not be on like 1,000 calorie diet. I think that you should be portioning out your meals and eating the correct portions of each food group.
Obviously, a lot of people have a complicated relationship with food, especially girls who are told to look skinny or look a certain way.
I think that, especially like I know Gail touched on it before with social media, and there's this ideal to be perfect and we compare ourselves to everybody, and it's just all we do all day is scroll and compare, scroll and compare. And so it's really, really dangerous. And I feel like for certain people that are taking it to a whole nother level, I actually recommend that they just unfollow certain people. Like if there
Mhm.
are certain people on Instagram that are making you feel bad about yourself and you're comparing yourself to them, you need to unfollow, not even because it has anything to do with them, just because you mentally cannot handle it. And I know that myself, in the past, I've unfollowed people because I'm like, oh gosh, I'm just comparing myself to them and it's not doing me
But
any.
sometimes don't you think it's motivating? Like I follow so many Instagram
Yeah.
models, and sometimes I'm like, if I want to look like that, then maybe that's really bad thinking. But sometimes I'm like, I'll work out today because I would like to look a little bit like that.
You look good on your own. You don't have to follow anyone, Kimberly.
Thanks,
I
guys.
mean, I think there are people that you follow because they do motivate you to get up and move your body. And I do think that like is a healthy relationship with it. But I think that there are other people that take it to another
Right.
extreme.
Also, I was talking to my friend about this the other day, and we were thinking, because I was like, we were FaceTiming. I was like, you look so good. You're so skinny. And then I was like, maybe I shouldn't be complimenting girls based on their weight. Just to my friend, it's fine. But then people have a complicated relationship with their weight, with food, and all these things. You never know if an eating disorder is behind a huge weight jump, things like that. So like, do you think that we should be complimenting people for looking really skinny, or should it be, I love your outfit, your hair, whatever it is?
Oh, this is a tough one. So I do think that like there's this fine line, and everybody's walking like this tightrope just in general in society right now. And like everybody's so careful about what they say about everything right now. I do think, if somebody looks good, give them the compliment, right? Like, people, if somebody has worked hard to lose a certain amount of weight, give them the compliment. But I also think that if it's a total like stranger that you don't know the backstory on, you might not just come out and be like, oh my gosh, you're so skinny, you look incredible. Like you don't know the full story behind it. But a lot of times, like with your friends, like if you know that your friend's been like working out and trying to
be healthy
and have like healthy habits, then you can give them the compliment. But I think that it is really touchy right now with everybody. You don't know what people are going through.
That's fair. Also, we were saying before, the ideal body type now that kind of society has created is this Kim Kardashian, big booty, kind of small waist look. Barb, when you were growing up or in your 20s, what was the ideal body type during that time?
Oh my, certainly not the big booty. That was the least, and the Botox lips, absolutely not. That was out of the question. Slim, very slim. When I look back at those pictures, how tiny we really were, we ate less, right, Gail? We ate less.
Yeah.
We were
portion control. It was different when I was growing up. I'm looking at the pictures. The ideal person was Marilyn Monroe. There was no question about it. I mean, everybody wanted to look
who,
like
by
Marilyn
the way,
Monroe.
was a size 12.
But you see,
But now people think that's heavy and it is
I
not.
know, but the weight and all this kind of body image is so superficial. We all
Mhm.
knew it was Hollywood. It was fantasy. And really, everybody, I knew girls who were thin. I knew girls who were sort of heavy. I knew we didn't really judge that much on
No.
looks. I mean, if you were nice, I mean, no one would say you should look terrible, but it's too much emphasis, I think, right now on image because it's so much on your phone, so much sharing of pictures that it's really nobody's business to see those pictures.
Right.
And I think that's a societal problem right now. I think we're
I agree.
we're really in for a lot of trouble with this. The men as well. I mean, not every guy can look like I don't know who your hero is now. I don't
Grandma, do you know what a dad bod is?
No, all I know is my dad had no stomach and no backside. Now he was
Okay,
my
well,
hero.
that's not normal.
That's
A
not
dad bod is like you're fit, but you have a little bit of a tummy. And now a lot of girls like actually want someone to have a dad bod over a six
Really?
pack.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
It's a type.
All right. I didn't have any of those types, so I don't know.
But we have hairless men now, that's an image men have to deal with, they have to rip off all their hair. There's a lot of hair there. I mean,
Right.
that's crazy.
Well, Christine, are you a shaved chest person or like a little bit? Or doesn't
I do not like hair at all.
Interesting.
Don't
Not
like
natural.
hair.
Oh, but that's not normal. Who doesn't have hair?
That's right. Thank you, Phil.
I mean, unless you're dating a Siamese cat, you have to have hair. I mean, this is ridiculous. So
Well, you can shave it.
no,
That's
there's
it.
no reason.
No, there's no reason.
There's no reason. You have to like the person.
But
That's
no,
ridiculous.
but then that's a societal thing too, because we're saying, oh, men can be natural, but we all have the pressure to shave our legs and whatever
Yeah,
else.
You don't want to shave your legs, don't
No,
you?
if I came home and you said to me yesterday, I shaved my legs yesterday, and you were
It's
like,
a little
"Oh,
rough.
a little prickly,
A little rough. A little rough. Listen, we all have our issues, but let's not look for the perfect person because
Right.
you'll
That's right.
never get anybody who's perfect. Honest to God.
Never.
So just stop that fantasy and stop trying to be perfect yourself. That's the most important thing. You have to accept your own failings and our own imperfections, and it's just fine.
Well, Christine and Barb, this was so fun. I'm so happy you came on.
We're really thrilled. And Christina, I'm very impressed with you. I think you've done a terrific job. I love your video. Maybe in my next life, when I come back again, I could look like you.
Christine,
Thank
where
you.
can people follow you on Instagram?
People can find me on Instagram over at CMC_fitness22. Feel free to slide up in my DMs. I respond to everyone. Any questions that you have, I will answer any and all questions. I love connecting with my followers, so feel free to reach out to me. And thank you so much for having me on here today. This was such an honor, so much fun. I'm so happy that I was able to do it with my mom as well. So thank you so much.
Of course, we love having all the generations here on Excuse My Grandma.
I hope everyone enjoyed listening to our guest today.
And Grandma, now you are going to have to institute some sort of fitness routine.
Absolutely. I'm going to walk to the pool and then I'm going to
Walk right back
I'm
upstairs
going to walk
and get
right
in bed
back
and watch
upstairs
Netflix.
And watch Netflix.
I will be joining you. Okay, guys, that was another great week. Follow us on Instagram at Excuse My Grandma or my personal Instagram at Kim Merstein. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.